Countries don't remain united without a reason. What's ours? You'd think our elites would be staying up late thinking about that. They're not. They haven't given it a thought, and they don't want you to give it a thought either. Diversity is our strength, they shout. It's an inadequate response from an inadequate leadership class. Meanwhile, they fan the flames of mindless tribalism. Division helps them maintain their power, even as it destroys our country. They have no interest in national unity. They have no interest in the nation state itself, actually. That's merely a barrier to their advancement. But there are a lot of people, including us, who still care about America, the nation, and it's worth thinking about why we are still a country. What do we all have in common? What do we all believe? What's the American idea? We're going to explore all that in the coming weeks and months because we think it's worth it, but we're going to start tonight with Christopher Harris. He's the Executive Director of Unhyphenated America. He saw our segment on Friday and called us up and asked to come on to talk about it, and we're, of course, happy to have him. Christopher, thanks a lot for coming tonight. We appreciate it.
Good to talk to you again.
So it's the response that we got, and I don't want to belabor it or whine about it, but the response was so telling from the left when we asked on Friday night, is it really true, this new national slogan? Is it true that the less we have in common, the stronger that we are? And out of that, thinking about that, raised the question, what is it that unites us as a country? Why are we a country?
Well, I had to go back to my foundational roots as a Christian, and I had to say Psalms 133 said, behold how good and pleasant it is for brethren to gather together in unity. And the United States does have a Christian foundation. We're not a Christian nation. We're not a theocracy, but we do have our foundational principles based in Judeo-Christian morality. And so we had to come together as one. We were unified as one. You had to bring those 13 colonies together, and you needed to have something that was going to unite us. That's where we came together with the Declaration of Independence. That's where we came together with the Constitution, which was built on the framework of the Declaration of Independence that made it clear that we are all human beings created with certain unalienable rights. And so that's what binds us together, is the idea, the principle of unalienable rights. And so when you decide to be anything other than an American, an unhyphenated American, you're talking about disunity. And there's nothing beautiful about disunity.
Well, I couldn't agree with you more. I just wonder why the people who have benefited the most from our society, the people who went to Princeton and have cable shows, or the people making $100 million in private equity, the people who really have a stake in the country and ought to be grateful to the country, are so unconcerned, it seems to me, with what might hold the country together going forward. Shouldn't they be the stewards of our country? Shouldn't they be working to unite us rather than divide us? But they're not. Why?
Well, there's powers that be out there that benefit from this disharmony, that they're looking to break things up. And at the end of the day, once again, as a Christian, I know that there is an enemy out there who wants to divide us. That's what he seeks to do, is to divide. And so the United States is a beacon of light to the rest of the world. People come from all over the world to be Americans, to embrace the American idea of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And so there's always going to be people who oppose that idea. That's just the reality of the world. But when you look around, and I just had a conversation in the green room with Sarah Carter, an interesting conversation about the fact that her family came from Cuba. And they did not come here, and she was saying her mother did not come here to proudly wave the Cuban flag. Her mother came here across the 90 miles from Cuba to be an American. And that's what people come here to do, is to be an American. Yes. And that's what we've always done, Tucker, until recently.
Because we've asked people to adopt American values when they arrive, and when we stop doing that, I'm worried. Christopher, I don't think this will be our last conversation on this topic, and I really appreciate your coming on tonight. Thank you.